what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Let's talk about defensive stop rate. This is a metric, Jake. It's very simple. It's not some like advanced analytics where it's like, well, this expected play point. No. Even though I do like EPA.
Oh, God.
All this is your percentage of drives that end in punts, turnovers, or turnovers on downs. Okay. So all it's saying is, I don't really care about yards. How often are you getting the other team off the field? Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Very important. Right now, the top 5 teams: Penn State, Duke, Michigan, Oklahoma, Ohio State.
Yep.
All pretty damn good teams. Okay. Right. Well, I want to highlight a few things from these rankings, and we'll get to LSU in a second. First off, I'm very impressed with Oklahoma checking in at 4 here. This is a team that was 72nd in stop rate last year. Venables is supposed to be a defensive mastermind, right? I hated on Brent Venables this offseason. Said I didn't know he's a guy ball. And I did say, look, in recruiting, he's proved me wrong. So now he's going to prove me wrong in the field, and Oklahoma's on their path to doing that.
That was we did when you left yesterday, things that we got the most wrong in the offseason. That was mine, Oklahoma. They were 125th, I think, in total defense last year.
They were awful.
They were terrible. And it looked like they were trending in the absolute wrong direction.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel couldn't stay healthy. Well, now he's staying healthy. 12 touchdowns, only 1 interception. The defense is playing at a very high level, and they've got Iowa State this week. They're going to win that game, and they're going to be in Dallas next week going against Texas, undefeated.
So right now, they're 4th in stop rate. They're 2nd in points per drive. They haven't given up a rushing touchdown. They've only allowed 3 passing touchdowns. They got 8 picks. And, they haven't played any great offenses, but whatever. They're still balling out.
SMU's SMU's a pretty solid offense.
Yeah, that's true. UGA, this is why I think Auburn has a 0.0% chance to win this week, and UGA's still awesome. They forced more punts than any team in the country. Yeah. They're top 10 in points per drive, yards per attempt, third down defense. Last week, we called the NPC game of the week Iowa-Penn State because we didn't really care about Penn State. It was all just about seeing we didn't care about Iowa. It was all about seeing what, Penn State was going to do. This week, that's Georgia to me. I know Auburn's not going to win. I just want to see Carson Beck and Jordan Hare against a pretty good Auburn defense. Auburn 25th in stop rate right now, so pretty damn good. How about this, Jake? And look, I watched the USC-Arizona State film, and I think what I saw is at odds with these numbers I'm about to read you. I came away unimpressed. But USC was 105th in stop rate last year. They're 30th right now. 1 spot ahead of Iowa, who won it 2 out of the last 3 years. USC currently leads the nation in TFLs with 41, and they're 3rd in the country with 18 sacks. And guess who they play this weekend? Colorado.
Yep.
Guess who's given up, who's 129th in TFLs allowed? Colorado. Colorado's 132nd in sacks allowed, 2nd to last. So that number probably going to go up. Okay, so these are just little under factors. What about LSU? Where do they check in? And this is where it gets disappointing. Because not only is LSU way down the list, but they are the only top 25 team that is this far down the list. LSU right now is 107th in defensive stop rate. Their peers, Coastal Carolina, Baylor, Middle Tennessee, Boston College. LSU must get better. If you're wondering why LSU Ole Miss is a 2.5-point spread, look no further than this. This is why.
Is it surprising, though?
It's not surprising, but it's disappointing because, LSU is better than Ole Miss at every single position group, and yet you can't feel good about the game because the defense just makes so many mind-boggling mistakes.
Yeah, and that's why we were talking about, I think it was Monday we were talking about it. When you have veteran players in there and players that are coming from other places, whatever, okay, well, if they're in there because they're sound and they have their assignment locked down, they're not trying to do too much like BK talked about on Monday, okay. But when those players are not doing those things, right, and maybe the talent isn't the same as a young player, you start to wonder, are they going to roll the dice maybe with a younger player? Is it going to be somebody else? Because this team doesn't have a lot of depth at that position, but they have young players. They have freshmen. Mm-hmm. So, if you're going to have missed assignments anyways, could we start to see maybe some different bodies in there?
I mean, this team will try anything.
That's what I'm saying.
This team will try anything.
Like, typically I would have said, no, they're going to go with the veteran guy regardless.
And I mean, again, I always love the old FDR quote where he's like, look, if you do something and it fails, admit why it failed, be honest with yourself, try something new, right? And be willing to fail again, but for God's sake, do something. And I think this staff does that. I think that, to me, they've made such an emphasis on this idea of do your job this week that, like, I'm hoping to see some improvement in that regard. Like, I don't care if Jackson Dart runs for 15 yards, if it means that the safety maintains his responsibility of his deep third. Yeah. Like that's the type of stuff that I'm going to be really focused in on during film this week. Because
Jackson Dart's going to have 15-yard runs in this game.
100%.
And you'd rather him have 3 of those than one, I think, 85-yarder behind your head.
Huh? Yeah, I'd say so.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'll give up 45 yards to Jackson Dart if you don't have game-changing moments and momentum swings by going over the top because my safety corner, whoever, is trying to stop Jackson Dart from running the football. Like, a lot of times you don't win a game like you had against Arkansas where you have that many blown coverages and you have that many momentum-type changing plays. Now, your offense had them as well, and that's why you won the football game. But, man, I mean, you get them to third down because LSU's defense really not bad getting them to third down. Yeah. Just bad on third down.
They're the inverse of FSU's offense, which is not good on first or second down, but it's great on third down. They're like the opposite defensively.
Yeah. And so, like T-Bob was saying with this, like, you got to get them off the field.
Got to get off the field.
I mean, and T-Bob laid it out on Monday. It's not like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. It's been like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12 where you've allowed these conversions.
It's so wild. Do y'all feel this? Do you feel like legitimate fear every time it's 3rd and long? Like, you should feel confident. I'd never feel confident. I always feel like I'm going to see the quarterback sit back there and then just deliver a dime in rhythm to just some soft spot in the zone. Like, every single time it feels like it's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like that. I'm like, they're about to hit a 20-yard dig route. Like, I've seen it time and time. And Florida State did it a ton. We saw it against Arkansas. I was like, it's just going to happen again. Like, I'm almost like, you know what? I'd rather it be like 3rd and 3, have them try to run it off tackle and stuff them. I'm like, if it's 3rd and 10 or longer, like, I'm on pins and needles.
So
that's so true.
I don't know that if y'all saw this on the game copy. I'm sure T did on the All-22. There's a lot of times KJ Jefferson, and they ran a ton of RPOs, but he actually gave the ball when if he would have pulled it, the tight end was streaking down the middle of the field like 3 times.
Yeah, and they hit a lot of those too. And one of them, one got batted down
and
where it might have been a touchdown, or would have been close at least. I don't know if
he hit his head on the goalpost. I know exactly the play you're talking about.
Who batted that down? Credit to him. I can't remember.
I don't either because all I saw was number 9.
Yeah.
He could have done the icky shuffle into the end zone from there.
So, look, man, very clear, obvious need for improvement there. And don't shy away from this. Accept it. And then, like we said, do something. Do your job.
T, as you were talking defense, I was looking up some total defense stats. In the top 5 in the country right now, it's Penn State, Air Force, Michigan, Ohio, and Florida. But the thing that popped off to me, Michigan, who's 3rd in total defense because it goes by yards and yards per play.
Yeah.
You know how many offensive touchdowns, though, Michigan's given up in 4 games?
How many?
2.
2.
In 4 games.
Michigan,
and I realize who they've played, but still, 2 touchdowns in 4 games?
Be careful. And Georgia's in the same boat, but I feel like Michigan's more so because I'm really impressed with McCarthy.
Georgia's given up 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, Michigan ain't playing around, bro. I mean, just, doubt Michigan because they haven't played anybody at your own risk because they're going to be strong, I believe, when it matters. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.